All right. Record. Yo, people of the podcast world, what's going on out there? It's your boy, DJ Earthquake. I got Dr. Fem Dizzle with me.
Hey man, foes, I'm tipping. Wood grain, I'm gripping, tipping.
With the paint dripping. Tell your next,
they ain't missing. Me and
Slim, they ain't missing. Pro pipping and pro. They like do or die. Our stop rims keep spinning.
Hey, see, y'all's internet is messing me up.
Got my back, so now I'm holding my nuts. It's power wall, baby. What you know about me? I'm from that 5'9" South Lee, baby. Holla at me. Still tipping on fofos.
I got Committee VLA.
What's good? Damn. I was trying to think of something from Houston. I was thinking Ghetto Boys. My mind's playing tricks on me.
Down on the floor. We make them girls get down on the floor.
By the time I hit the floor, I see hoes on the wall. I saw me. I'm a pimp.
I ain't messing with this.
Yeah, that's it.
Now, don't you hate them lying ass, lying in your face wearing their best friend clothes? I suppose they like the way and banner pimp, or you can catch his ass, Papa Do's eating steak and
shrimp, or you can catch
E&J pouring
E&J's pouring it up. Wait, am I in?
I'm sorry, yo. That nigga got,
is bad.
He got that Nelly Wi-Fi. He got that underlay.
Mama E-I, uh-oh.
Yeah, we see.
Well, y'all on the moon is here, guys.
Is that bad? Like, do I need to like?
You may need to relocate. You may need to relocate.
You might have to turn the Wi-Fi off on your phone.
Are you using your phone or a computer?
Oh, true. I'm on my computer, but there are a number of devices on. He's correct about it.
Send me your location.
And well, we are the Africans. This is Travel Talk. Welcome to another week here with us. Look, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. Last week we needed a mental health break. just as accurate as a statement as we can get it. We needed a mental health break, and we needed it bad. It was so bad. Yeah, we still kind of need some, but it was so bad that we were all thinking the same thing, but just didn't have the guts to say it. The only person who had the guts to say it is Moonman. So, I want to clap it up for Moonman for that one. So I can actually do sound effects because you guys aren't here. I think I might hook up my iPad next time.
Hey, get your Joe Budden on, bro.
No, you gotta do the runny little joint. Y'all know joint.
Yeah, I don't have it. I think this weekend what I'll do, because it's the Memorial Weekend, I'll go ahead and just like try to play with it, see how it works out. Because I do have the app, I just haven't used it, and I just remembered that I have the app. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely try next pod.
I forgot Monday. I forgot Monday was Memorial Day weekend. I forgot this is Memorial Day weekend coming up.
Hey man, you know what's so crazy? This month went by so much faster than April. I don't know what it is. Like, we literally at the end of the month, and that's crazy to me.
That is true.
But anyways, Ramadan ends this Saturday, guys. And committee is a yearly participant. So how is this Ramadan been for you, my brother?
I mean, it's almost the same.
Okay.
Outside of, going to the mosque and praying or breaking fast with people. I think probably this time, if the Rona wasn't going on, I probably would have been on a flight home at some point this week.
Okay.
Come see family and friends. So, I mean, there's that, but it's actually been good. I've been trying to, my sleep schedule is fucked up because of the whole
trash right now.
Yeah, so I'll sleep 2 hours at night and wake up and be up the whole night. So for me, it's when I'm up then I can work out I'll try to do like 100 crunches or something like that. Then I'm eating like, I'll make food to eat before I start fasting again, or work on other things I need to work on, or clean the house. But one thing I am trying to do is eat more clean and healthy. So, what's it called? For the last 10 days of Ramadan, I told myself I'm gonna go vegetarian. Only because I'm gonna still eat eggs. But other than that, it's been chill. It hasn't even been that bad for real. Like trying to be vegetarian, and like it really hasn't been that bad. I I haven't had the urge to eat like steak or anything like that, or like beef or chicken or anything. So,
Yo, Mitty, you been cooking all your meals just for Ramadan?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think the only time I bought something is when I went to this Somali restaurant. So, found a Somali restaurant in Inglewood somewhere, and I went to go get food from there.
That's what's up, bro.
True. Oh, you a Cali nigga for real, huh?
I'm not allowed to speak yet. You know what
This man came out of nowhere.
I honestly wish I could eat seafood. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really do wish I could, but
You're allergic, right, Quake?
Yeah, I'm a dad.
And that sucks, bro. I made a seafood boil the other day with my girl. Well, she made it. It was like lobster, crab, shrimp.
This wasn't the time for you to proceed. We haven't even introduced.
This man said I made this boil with my girl. Honestly,
exactly.
She made it.
Was I the only one?
I just bought the stuff.
Hey, Meadows, I like that, man. I be saying the
Cool
same
night,
thing.
John.
I love it.
I gotta stay away from the seafood boils, man. They be hitting the cholesterol heavy.
Cholesterol. Oh yeah, you only eat that like once or twice a year for real.
It don't look like people eating once or twice a year. It look like they eat 2 times, 3 times a week.
No. We had it like I think the last time I had one was like probably like 2 years ago. Like because I mean it's a lot. Like crabs and stuff. It's a little bit of food, but it's a lot of cholesterol and all that
it's
shrimp.
In butter.
And then you put it in butter and all salt and everything.
Yeah. Like I remember, I think earlier this year I had it like twice, and I was like, damn. It's like I had it twice in 2 weeks, I would say, and I just felt like I had a heart attack coming. So I was like, yeah, I got to chill out.
Well, guys, we have a friend of the pod here.
Oh snap! Y'all start. When did you hit the record? When did you hit the record button?
About 10 minutes.
That's how we roll, bro. Just like that.
Y'all ain't even giving me a heads up.
My internet, dog.
But yeah, we got a friend to the room. Just like Sam Ambassador, we can no longer afford him, even though at the time when we met and we were cool, we still couldn't afford him at that time. We still cool now, but it's my guy. But his price is definitely not Africanus friendly for Africanus ventures at the moment. But he's always going to be a friend. He's always going to be a bro to us, somebody who was a part of our rebrand and definitely looked out for us in several ways with features, advice, all that good stuff. But anyways, guys, we have Sir Meadows back on the pod with us. Welcome, my good brother. Down south brother.
Yeah.
Houston's finest.
Houston, Texas, shouted.
Mr. H-Town himself. What's poppin', bro?
Yo, what's good, y'all? Nah, I'm not Mr. H-Town, bro. I'm still an East Coast nigga, man, for real.
Hey, I love Houston, so.
Yeah, man. Houston's great. I mean, Houston's great. It's 100, bro. It's like it was 103 degrees today. 103. Hot, bro. Yeah, we'll hit 103 today. But yeah, man, shoot. East Coast always home, man. That's where the heart is. I like miss being home because the slang ain't the same. Like you can't jive like with none of your mo's out here. You know what I'm saying? Like people be like, wait, what?
Hey man, I'm hip, man. I lived in Texas for a year. It was a culture shock, man.
Yeah, bro.
At least you there.
And people be confused.
Bro, at least you there with somebody. Imagine if it was just you.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
That's real.
Dude, let me ask y'all something I asked the timeline like a couple weeks ago. Which closed club or which former lounge club in the DMV had the best run? Stonefish.
Oh God.
Shadow Room. What was it? Stonefish, Shadow Room, Ozio's.
Yeah, I heard Ozio closed, right?
Yeah, they closed at Ozio's.
That's tragic, bro. That's where I met my girl.
Damn.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you call her properly, please?
Yeah, I mean, like I knew her. I met her through Beverly, but like I met her and Beverly at Ozio.
Yo, it's crazy. I still remember. It was like, yeah, maybe I think I was with you, right?
It was at Shake Shack or something.
We were at Shake Shack. Right? Yeah.
Was that the same day? That wasn't the same day.
No, that was the day after.
You already
the day before.
Exactly.
Oh, really?
Exactly.
Damn.
Yeah, and then
I would have thought y'all was already like
nah, because at that time they was just chilling.
Yeah,
but
it was free.
They seemed like they had that chemistry.
Nah, bro. Because at that time, Meadows literally was like, "It's free game," and I remember, bro.
I said that,
yeah. But however,
Femi was plotting.
Nah, clearly, because niggas was trying to go for Beverly.
Yeah, me and Femi was fighting
exactly.
over Beverly.
Me and Mitty was trying to go for Beverly. You know what I'm saying? It was just crazy. But Meadows literally was like, "Yo, man, they both from Texas." And then next thing you know, I'm like, "Wait, nigga, come on, Meadows, this your girl? How? You little sneaky bastard."
Sounds like the night I played.
Yeah, you played that night.
I wish I was there.
Yo,
what year was that? What was that? 2000?
That was like 17.
That's 2016.
Yo,
2016.
I love stories like that, man.
That was 2016, man.
I love stories. I love stories like that because you can just laugh because I'm like, damn, hey, Mindy.
Oh, what are we doing with our lives?
Hey, man, God is good, brother, all the time.
All the time, man.
But to go back to the question.
Yeah. Sorry, the question.
All right, which former club lounge in the DMV had the best run? Stonefish, Ozio's, Cafe Asia, and Shadow Room.
Sheesh.
Why are you picking those four specifically?
Oh, because those are the first four that came to my mind. We could throw in.
First of all, those four were disgusting. Like their runs were disgusting.
Nah, Love, bro.
Nah. Love is too old, bro.
I kept Love out of it because it's too old, and it wasn't. Love was before the day party scene.
Bro,
before the day party.
Love was legendary.
Run was amazing. Every
nigga
week, 2-3 nights a week, packed house, bro. Early.
Legendary. Love was over.
Well, because that's because it was 18 and over. So a lot of the college kids, you know what I'm saying, that's how Layla was able to sustain herself for quite some time. But
damn, I forgot about Layla.
Yeah, Layla Lounge.
Yeah.
Man, wow.
But and to answer your question directly, right? I am partially like Stonefish was cool. I love Stonefish, but I am like forever indebted to Shadow Room because I don't know why I love that place so much. I was so heartbroken when they closed, bro. I love Shadow Room, dog. Shadow Room was by far one of the illest clubs. Period. Like their Thursday nights were so ridiculous, dog. Like,
man. See, I think for me, I had memories and stories in all these places. That's why I'm like, dang. Like, I remember what's it called? When we graduated in 2012, I remember everybody had a table at Cafe Asia. Like that one day.
It's true.
I remember seeing Kevin Durant was at Cafe Asia.
Like, he was at Cafe Asia that one night too. I remember that night.
How does that make it? If Kevin Durant is there, why does that?
No, because you're thinking about the memories. You thinking about the memories you have in these places and like the things that go on in these.
You see money snipe.
The amount of fights that niggas had at some of these places.
I've never.
That don't make it better either.
Hey, but these are memories. These are stories you sit back with your boys, you drinking, you're San Antonio. You laugh at that,
I'm gonna say Cafe Asia was hood rich, bro. It was
that was
fun, but on a week to week basis, it was hood rich, bro.
I remember
Like Ghetto Fabulous.
Yeah. Which one was it? Was that Asia or Layla that you and your homeboy had that fight that one time?
That was Cafe.
That was Asia, right? Yo, that was one of them Middies boys. All them niggas got tables. Oh, it was so many tables that night. It was crazy.
Madness.
Well,
Everybody
what
came
about
out.
that? What about that one joint? What was it called? Was it K Street Lounge?
K Street Lounge.
K Street Lounge was like the lounge.
It was also
I forgot what they changed it to.
Yeah, I forgot they. What was it? There was
Capital.
Yeah.
We were supposed to do an event there. I think we was looking at that venue.
Yeah, we visited.
We went there.
But if you're being honest, Ozio's had like the longest consistent run, man.
Yeah, Ozio's. I mean, to me, Ozio's was great. The food was solid. It was like $4, I think, happy hour drinks.
I think the happy hours is what they were most known for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, their happy hours. Their brunch was cool too.
Yeah, their brunch, but it's a little.
I'm gonna shoot Stonefish some bail. I think Stonefish, in terms of the African scene, Stonefish was.
It's in the Hall of Fame.
Was the Hall of Fame club for sure.
Oh yeah, Stonefish.
The parking lot pimping, the let out pimping. That Stonefish is untouchable to me. I bagged a couple nice young ladies, man. After the let out,
we gotta give respect to Stonefish, but like if you reluctant when you go in there because it's like it can just be dead. Some nights you go there and it's literally no one on the floor. Everyone's just on couches and tables. It's like where's the rest of the club at? Like what's going on? Son?
I don't know, bro.
Scammers love Stonefish,
of course.
Shit,
but
even us. The scammers love any lounge.
Scammers loved it. That's what I'm saying. None of us were ever like, yo, we gotta hit Stonefish. Yo, we give credit where it's due, but none of us were like ever like geeking or super hyped. We gotta hit Stonefish.
Yeah, Stonefish was always there's nothing going on this weekend. Let's go do. We just try and get into something.
You just try to do something.
That was kind of like how Ozio's was too for some time.
Yeah, I mean, but Ozio's we carry a lot of memories too because we had a couple legendary tables at Ozio's.
Yeah.
We had a couple legendary tables at Ozio's, i.e. Yao and Jermaine's graduation.
That was Ozio's?
That was Ozio's.
Man, that was a great night.
I've had unexpected tables. You go into the club and you just like you expecting to chill, but then you end up getting a table.
In the table, yeah, for sure. That's happened a couple times.
Yeah.
Anywho,
yeah.
Let's start the show.
Meadows, let's get into you real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Besides, you know what I'm saying, having a fiance and moving to Texas, you recently found out that you want a Webby. A couple of them.
Wait. Wow. That was this morning.
Time out. Femi, what's on your head? I'm sorry.
It's a valid question.
I can't ignore that.
Don't chill out, man. I'm an artist.
He's on his John Wall right now.
Exactly, man. Look. I'm rapping,
with the shirt and everything.
Come on, man.
Right.
I'm an artist, man. So you know, I'm currently working on a future, top seller list book right now. So you know, I have to tap into my artistry. You know what I'm saying? Hey, well, you know what I mean.
My B.
You know.
Continue. I got to continue.
I mean, King Mitty, step your game up, cuz.
Oh, I got a haircut.
Yeah, nigga. Go ahead, brother Webby.
My bad, Meadows. Go ahead.
Yeah, what were you asking about it?
No, I was asking. You recently just got recently found out that you won some Webbies.
Yeah.
For Tell Black Stories podcast.
Yeah.
Voting while black.
Yeah.
So how do you earn those things? Like, Webby, I'm assuming it's like video content, right?
Yeah, so it's video content. So they were like video podcast series. It was last year at Sundance. So I was at Sundance. I've been at Sundance I was there this past January, and I was there last year, 2019, and the year before. So yeah, I mean, like I was working on a project at Color Change, which is like the nation's largest online racial justice organization, and we were working on a project with Dream Hampton, the person who did the Surviving R. Kelly, the Surviving R. Kelly series. And so we did a project with her, and then we did like a podcast series with it. And then I found out that it got submitted at the end of last year for like Webby consideration in December. And then I woke up this morning to like emails that like we had won 3 Webbys for that one podcast for like a live recording. I don't even remember all the different, like it was like a People's Choice winner, a live recording thing, and then like a TV and film or something like mini series thing, which is kind of dope. And then the other one, over the past year, I've been working with Color Change and some different presidential candidates. And so there was a podcast called Voting While Black, and that was also like a video podcast series where like we were interviewing like Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker, Julian Castro, just before they all dropped out, obviously. And yeah, I mean, that to my surprise again, that won a Webby this morning as well. So woke up this morning to 4 Webby dubs. That was kind of cool.
So take a step back and tell the people, because it's been a minute since you've been on. So go ahead and tell the people what you do, or what, like, tell them. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, like, I guess the title that I work under is kind of just like creative director. So like I produce like short films, documentaries. I do like design work, brand design, overhaul stuff, and like consult as far as just like marketing and storytelling, like just like helping companies and brands get their messaging out there. Just connecting with their consumers or their audience and doing that kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, it's been cool. It's kind of like evolved over the years, like, working with like bigger clients, sometimes working with smaller clients, but like always kind of doing the same thing pretty much.
Okay. So how do you like get your name out there, and how do those, let's say, other creative directors or creatives, that's looking for maybe that quote unquote big break? What do you say to them in terms of trying to get themselves out there?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I would say like just work on your craft. I mean, it sounds really cliche, but I mean, like, work on your craft, like, because luckily we work in an industry where like the product that you put out speaks for you. Like, I don't really talk to a whole lot of people about what I can do or what I do. I just show them the work, and I think just being a good person, like, I think like working on your craft and just being a good person. Like, I have a website. I've never really promoted my website, honestly. Like, I've always been just blessed to have like a really connected network, and like somebody refers me to somebody who continues to refer me and refer me and refer me. I rarely ever am like I'm rarely like trying to get work. I'm usually just in the position of like people referring me and working that way. But I mean, the biggest thing is like, the biggest thing is just like making sure your stuff is tight. Like, I think even like right now with a lot of states still in lockdown or partial shutdown and being in full lockdown the last couple months, hopefully a lot of people use that time to, better themselves in some way. I think like as a creative, ultimately, like, that's your biggest asset, is just like the skill that you have, and once, like, you can't, like, whether you like me or not, like, the quality of my work will speak for itself, and that's kind of the good thing about it, is it's real objective, like, good work is good work, and usually that's enough to do most of the talking for you. So yeah, that'd be my advice, man. Just be a good person, because like, honestly, people will look out for you if you're a good person. Like, if you're out here dicking people over and like, just being an asshole, then like, you know, you reap what you sow. But I feel like if you're a good person and you just like focus on your craft and, you know, just really mastering it, like opportunities will definitely fall in your lap.
So how have you been handling?
For me, they did.
How have you been handling this COVID scenario that's been falling upon everyone?
Man, I like being inside. I mean, like, so it's like there's two sides to it. So like I travel a lot for work. So this has probably been since February. Yeah, I think it's been like a solid 3 months since I've been on a plane, which is like unusual. Like, like I mean, I'm usually on a plane. Like,
humble.
Yeah,
flex.
you know, like, yeah. I mean, I'm
Humble
normally on a
flex.
plane. I'm normally on a plane like every. I mean, like normally at least like every other week. So I think for me the biggest thing has been like not traveling, but like and being home. Like I typically like being home. Like it's funny when y'all were talking about like which club, like, you know, which DC club had like the longest, like the best run. I mean, I don't go out, like I go out, but I don't go out that much. Like, I mean, there's a couple places that you mentioned I haven't really been to. I ain't gonna say them because I ain't trying to get shamed, but like there's some places that I ain't really been to.
Hey, man,
you might have not been here. You might have not been in the area.
Live your truth, bro.
I mean, I lived in.
No, Meadows was here. Meadows was
DC. I was there, but I don't really go out like that, you know. So.
And what does that say about us?
Nothing.
Nah, it doesn't say nothing about y'all.
different strokes. Different strokes for different folks.
Meadows is different. Meadows, like you said, Meadows like is like a true homebody. So like he can be home for like an extended amount of time.
Yeah, I could stay at home for days, bro. Like, I mean, like I could just be home for days. Like, so for me, like, I mean, for me, quarantine has been interesting because the biggest thing about quarantine for me has been like I live with my lady now, so it's like like traveling every like 2.5 weeks was like, I wouldn't say it was nice. It was like that was the normal, you know, like that was the normal. Like, you know, I'm here for like 15, 20 days and I'm gone for like 5 days to a week or whatever. Versus like now, like we wake up every day for the last 3 months. We, you know, we see each other. We're like we're around each other more.
Which one do you
so
prefer?
That's been. I mean, I actually like. I actually like being around her. I think being around her has been good because, you know, I mean, like y'all know, like at least I think y'all know, like we were long distance before, so we went from being long distance when I was in DC, she was in Houston, and like before she moved back to Houston, she was in Miami. So, and then to like living with each other. So like we went from like being 1,000 miles apart to being like right together. So that whole transition has been like real. It's been dope. I mean, because like, you know, when you're long distance, like arguments are different. Communication is a bigger deal versus like, you know, when you're together, it's like, man, that ain't even that serious. Or like you could just talk about something and like move on versus like holding on to things, like, you know, and, you know, fam, you're a therapist, so, you know, you understand, like, you know, just like talking about things, talking through things. And like when you're long distance, like it's easy to like ignore your phone. Like it's easy to like not text back or do those things, like, you know, just because you're not really feeling that person right now. Like when you live with that person, it's not you can't do that. Like, you know, you have to communicate. So I mean, I prefer that. So I prefer like being around her and stuff. But yeah, quarantine's been cool though. I mean, like for me, work hasn't slowed down too much, just the traveling part of it. So yeah.
I was gonna say, because go ahead. Oh,
now I was gonna say, even the work you did for us, branding wise, you know, digital creation wise, all of that could have easily been done virtual. Like, I mean, I know you travel a lot, but I don't think it necessarily needs to like slow down. Right? So.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, man, y'all. I mean, I see like the background on Quake's jump. Like, y'all brand still looks tough. Me and Sam. I think Sam was on a few weeks ago. We were actually talking about y'all, just saying like, yo, they're. I mean, because now it's been like. It's almost been like 4 years. Like, you know, like I'm like, yo, that jump still. I mean, in my opinion, I don't think I'm biased either. Like, I think that jump still clean. Like, you know, like so. So yeah.
It's clean. Shout out.
To go to something you said, you had said that you guys now live together. So, and you're not married yet. So what made you decide to move in together? Like, what goes into the thought process of I want to live with my babe?
He on his Charlemagne.
Uncle Mitty.
He on his Charlemaine.
Uncle Mitty. You got uncle. Oh my God. They're even engaged. Come on.
No. See, I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it until he said it. He keeps saying my lady.
I had already snitched.
He already did.
Yeah, we're engaged. I mean, we're engaged. Like, I mean, we live together.
Uncle Mitty, in America, people meet and move in after 2 weeks. So give the guy his credit, Uncle.
I'll say one thing. I remember, I don't know if this was on a podcast or this was like in person when I seen you last. I remember Meadows said that, man, he told me, like, he was telling some story about how he missed his girl. He was like, man, I miss her, man.
That was not on pod.
Yeah, that was not.
Oh, that was not on.
Oh,
okay.
That was.
He was like, man. He's like, man, I knew. All right, so but it's a nice story. I was like, damn, this brother really in love when I heard this story. I was like, damn. He was like, man, when I get on a plane to come to leave her, I just want to get back on a plane and go back to her. I was like, damn. That's
Medi, you never felt that, huh?
No. I'm like,
oh,
you gonna answer that question, Meadows? Why y'all?
Which one?
Medi saying what made you decide to move in? Cohabitation.
Yeah, I mean, like, so I think the thing is, it's like, so we were long distance. I was living on Georgia Ave. Some of y'all may know. I was like right outside the city. She was down in Houston, and we did that for, how long was that? I think we did that for like close to almost 2 years. Yeah, we did that for about 2 years, and I mean, that's expensive, bro. Like, it's expensive. I mean, I think like a year and a half into us dating, I proposed, and so it was like, I mean, at that point, like, you know, Lord willing, like that, we were definitely moving in the direction of getting married. So it was like, even though like she was really kind of anti like living together, and I mean, I wasn't like pro living together either. It's just kind of what made sense, right? Or else like I could have been in DC. And like we could have still been doing the long distance thing, but what kind of made it tricky was she was also starting med school, and so like with her being in med school,
you got you a doctor.
Yeah, with her being in med school, it would have been harder to sustain the long distance relationship. Like, you know, like to expect her to have like the same amount of time to like sit on the phone and like to try, or even like to travel, because like she really does need to like focus and like be in one place, you know. So it was kind of like, well, at least we're engaged. Let's just kind of bite the bullet and live together, and like kind of whoever says we're living in sin, like, you know, we'll just kind of deal with that for a year, and we know we're going to be getting married. And then the funny part of it is like our wedding is most likely postponed because of corona. So,
all I need in this life of sin is me, fiance.
So
right. So yeah. So I mean, that was the logic behind the decision. I mean, it's hard. Like, you know, it's hard. Like, just her being in med school, my work schedule being pretty consuming. I think we have both kind of hit. I think we could have definitely still made it if we were long distance, but it was easier being together. Like, it just made sense, like emotionally and financially, because like she would have been like down in Texas paying her own rent separately. I'd have been in DC paying my own rent separately. Like, you know, so it's like, if we're thinking of like a future together, like it really didn't make sense for us to be putting ourselves, like we just be spending too much money even too, and on top of like the emotional constraints.
I must say I'm on fire today, because now I have a follow-up question.
Hold on, Mitty.
Okay.
Before you grill this brother, I'ma just say, Brother Meadows, I want to commend you on that, man. You know, I want to commend you, because very too often we see people trying to like follow this blueprint. you know what I'm saying, trying to follow this game plan, which is cool. It's always good to have like system, you know, a game plan. However, you know, like they say, you know, everybody got a plan till you get punched in the mouth. Life happens.
That's one of my favorite quotes.
Life
Mike
happens.
Tyson.
Yeah, and that's real. Look at everybody got a plan. Then Corona happened.
Punched in the mouth. Yeah.
You know, you gotta adjust in life, and I think that's where a lot of people mess up at. You know, they still want to be like, man, but this is what I do, man. I don't believe in, bruh. I'm spending thousands in going on these flights and paying my rent and this and that, and I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with this woman anyway, man. What's the big deal?
Yeah, I mean, it just didn't really make I mean, like, it didn't really make sense, you know. It didn't really make sense for us anyway, so we decided to just do it.
Hey, King Mitty, go. I done softballed it.
All right. So
listen, just the ability to respond to change is just as equal, if not higher, than the ability to make great. That's wisdom for everybody out there, bro.
Yeah. You just got, I mean, you just got to do what works for you at the end of the day. Like, I mean, that's kind of just, we just did what worked for us, and we kind of just tuned everybody out. You know, even like our parents were kind of like, you know, like our parents weren't necessarily 100% on board, but we just had to do what we had to do.
That's what I'm talking about.
So, frequent collaborator and friend of the pod, Miss Yanni Talks, always, she's always harping on, you know, debating on who pays the rent and all that stuff in relationships when you're, you know, with someone.
Sir Meadows.
I gotta ask, you know, to be frank, I don't think there's a wrong answer to this question at all. You know, it's just based on how you and your partner choose to, you know, arrange your situation. So, who's paying the rent?
Mitty the God.
You asking them questions today, man. That's funny.
Can we confirm first that it's not an apartment or it's a townhome, or is that?
No. We're paying rent. We were actually planning on buying, but like we're gonna wait for the Great Depression to hit so we can get a 2-for-1 special.
Hey, that's what I'm waiting for right now, babe.
Get a 2-for-1 special, but I mean, like I pay the rent. I mean, she contributes, like, you know, she chips in a little bit, but we kind of, I mean, she's a student. At the end of the day, I feel like she's a student, and so it doesn't really. I mean, you know, she's a student. We pretty much follow like a 80-20 situation. I'm the 80.
So you put it in her name, so you get the lower deal, but you still pay it. I like that.
Yeah, we do it. Yeah, we got a little student discount when we came in this job. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. But
hey, hold on. Is it school in H-Town or it's in another state?
So we're splitting time between Houston and San Antonio.
Hold on, but I'm saying the med school is in Houston, is in Texas though.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're in Texas.
Oh, so what's in San Antonio?
Like the school is based there, but that's just where the school's based. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey man, y'all know the Michelle and Barack story. You know what I'm saying? But Barack ain't have it all together. But Michelle, she saw the seed that was in the brother. She knew the destiny of the brother. My brother Meadows knows his woman is gonna be a doctor. So you let her focus on school, because when she germinates and comes into her full self, they're both gonna enjoy the fruits of their labor. That's what you call a partnership.
I think actually, to that point, Femi, I think the issue society that I see is the opposite. What?
Y'all,
breaking up?
Y'all bumming the neighbor's Xfinity jump.
Y'all, we must hear these points. No.
Yeah, no. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, you sound like You was about to
it
say
sounded like a
point.
good question. It sounded like a good
something insightful.
What I'm saying, that's a beautiful thing. But I feel like many of us brothers would see that potential and could make that decision. That wouldn't be some hang up block for us, right? Even when it comes to something as conflicting as that topic, right? But I think the reverse, right? We look at the woman that hate on the Lawrence Hive, even and stuff like that, right? Like I think the reverse is what I see in society. That's a big hang up. Men that are on their way up, that are exhibiting potential, that are trying to climb the ladder and put plans in place, are getting bypassed or looked down upon. I still get women telling me now. I mean, I'm not trying to go into insecure talk per se. I would leave that to the MC Kwiku. But you know what I'm saying? Like to this so ashy, he's so trashy. In my brain, I'm like, this brother has a limited potential. Like, what's really there anyway? But I just think that the problem that I see is the reverse more so than.
I mean, I think that like. I think it's like if it's a 1-to-1, like I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of women, if they were dating somebody, I know I have friends who are guys that are in med school right now who are with people and they're dealing with that. I don't know. I don't know if that's a fair. I think that with women, like it needs to be, they actually have to see it. I think the problem is like a lot of guys like might be like chasing like the entrepreneurial bag, right? Which like, yeah, there might be potential, but there's no clear
guarantee.
There's no clear guarantee, right? But like, like I have a friend who was in med school. His fiance at the time was a teacher. Like you had a teacher holding him down, like, and I mean, now he's probably, he'll be raking in like close to $500,000 by the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? But for like 6 years, they were living off a teacher's salary. And like whatever he was getting on like student loans and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think it's unfair to say that like women should be expected to do the exact same thing because like most women aren't necessarily in the same, like most women don't put men in the same situation. So it's like if like that's what I'm saying. Like if you compare it 1-to-1, I think the outcomes would be the same more often than not. Like I think men just choose to like be like, it's cool, but like deep down, like you actually gonna be getting some bread or not? But like you're choosing, you're choosing to be like, oh, it's whatever. Like I can hold this down. But like most women are like, I don't know about all of that.
Meadows, so let's say if you said, yo, nah, that's a deal breaker, would you be labeled as an ain't-ish brother? Then if a woman say, nah, I ain't taking care of no nigga,
I don't think so.
I'm not raising no man.
I'm not raising no other kids.
I don't think so. I mean, this is what I say. Like being, I mean, I could say it now because it'll be a year in July that we've been living together. But like I think being in a relationship and like being a provider with somebody who's like still in school or something like that is not an easy thing. Like, I don't think it's easy per se, especially like I think the biggest misconception is like, oh, well, men are providers. Like who like says who? Like, you know what I mean? Just because it's like you've never actually done it before, right? So it's still it's still hard. Like it's still like a learned thing. So I think if a man doesn't want to be in a position where like for the next like 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you're like the quote unquote provider. Like, I don't think you're an ain't-ish nigga because you choose to like not be with somebody like that. I don't think that's a fair label. I think that's just a choice you choose to make. Just like, I mean, a woman who, like a woman could be in a position where like she's making money and like maybe she doesn't want to be the one fronting all the bills like while her guy's in med school. And I don't think she should be labeled like ain't-ish either because like it's like, you go from like literally just like taking care of yourself and like, if you want to go to Stonefish, you can go to Stonefish. If you want to buy yourself an 80-inch TV, you buy yourself an 80-inch TV to now it's like, dang, like it's me and my partner, like me and my woman, like, okay, we need groceries, we need this. And like, they're going to chip in along the way and stuff. But like, if the bulk is falling on you and you've never done that before, like there's no You know what I'm saying? Like it's not. I don't think you can really fault either party for choosing to not want to be in that. I don't think it's fair. I think like our generation is just too quick to like label people and be like, oh well, she's this and the third, or like, oh, he really wasn't nothing anyway. And it's like, was he not nothing, or is that just like very, very new uncharted territory? And like most people and our age, I mean, maybe I don't know, but I feel like most people our age are expecting like to be in something where like at least like from jump, more often than not, it's like quote unquote equally yoked. So I do feel like it's not really fair to like pass. I don't think it's fair to pass that type of judgment like on a man or a woman, because I mean it's different. Like it's very different.
And I agree
from,
with that.
Like what you've been doing. Yeah.
I agree with that. I just feel like society will.
Yes, I mean society. I mean, but at the end of the day, like society's gonna do what society's gonna do, right? Like, I mean, I feel like a lot of people just allow like the media and like music and rap culture and just media to influence a lot of those things. But when you actually step back and look at it objectively, you know what I mean? It's like, how you gonna be mad because a dude said like, yo, I'm not really in a position to take on like your groceries, your car loan. Even that doesn't mean that you're not financially stable, like, or whatever. That might just be like what you didn't want to sign up for right now. And that's okay. Like you're allowed to make that call for yourself. Like, I don't really subscribe to like, well, he's a man, he has to do this. He doesn't have to do anything. Like, just like a woman doesn't have to do anything. I think all of those things, like kind of like what we were talking about earlier, like you do what works for you. Like, you just do what works for you. Like my girl and I, like there are things that I'll never ask her to pay for because I know what she's capable of doing. And like there are things that like I just know to pay for. And then like there's things that like I know that maybe if I'm like, hey, you mind like grabbing, like we just got back before we got on the call from PF Chang's, and like she paid for PF Chang's. Like, you know what I mean? Like she got dinner. So I mean, like, I just feel like you just do what works for you. I feel like our generation is just too quick to be like, hey, this person needs to do this. Hey, this person needs to do that. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. But that's like a whole different, like, that's a whole different. Yeah. That's the insecure talk. That is the insecure talk.
But it's so many, but we can't ignore this. So many norms around it, Meadows. Like, you're so right, bro. Like, do what works for you. And I think that ultimately should be the response. That should be like the bar, right? Period. What works in your situation works. But you see so much stuff. There's so many norms. There's so many expectations. Bruh, it's crazy out here, bruh.
Yeah, I mean, it is. But I mean, I feel like that's just, bruh, I mean, me and my girl talk about it all the time. Like, we have friends, I'm not going to name names. Like, we have friends who be like, my man needs to be able to buy me like Louis Vuitton, or like my man needs to be able to drive this, or my man, and it's like, can you buy yourself Louis Vuitton? Do you drive this?
Yes.
Do you, like, you know what I mean? Like, so like I do feel like sometimes it's unfair, and there's guys who there are guys too who are also guilty of it, who be like, oh, like, I don't want to date no fat junk, and it's like, but you're fat, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and the thing is like, that's okay. Like, it's okay. Like, I mean, not like I'm not saying like it's okay to be fat per se, because ideally I'd like for everybody to be healthy. Like, I think that's just in people's best interest. But it's like, it's like you want something that you're not even doing.
Bring to the table.
And I think, yeah, that you're not bringing to the table. And I think it's just unfair. Like, you know what I mean? It's unfair. Like, to be like, oh man, like I ain't gonna date her. She got a gap in her teeth, and you got a gap in your teeth.
Hey man, that's actually a chapter of my book, man. You a smart brother.
What's your book about, Femi?
Man, it's a self-help book for the ladies, baby. You feel me?
I ain't heard about this book till today, bro. You feel
me? Same here. I'm like, yo, this nigga writing a book.
my nigga,
I got the book. He sent me the draft. That's why I was quoting it.
I can guess that Femi has been talking about this for a while.
Thank you, bro. I've been working on this book.
But the thing
I started working on this book
for like 2 years.
Femi always be trying like make stuff sound like a joke, so you never know if it's true or not. I feel this one for sure.
I started working on this book in 2013.
But you talked about a book long ago called Escaping the Friend Zone.
No. This is
So
It's the
it's
same
the
book.
same project basically. What you mean?
In that book. It's a book. It touched on different, different topics. Yeah.
Femi Harvey.
Femi Harvey. Nah, it's crazy though, Meadows. You brought up a great point. Like, people be like, man, I want a man that's patient. But it's like, bruh, you be out
She
here.
not patient.
You know what I'm saying? You be provoking niggas. So or I want a man that's this. Nah. I'm like, yo, it's okay to desire those things, and you're perfectly within your right to want them. But
Absolutely.
also do your own due diligence to make sure you're providing those same things. You know what I'm saying? And it will help us go a long way.
But that's why
that's
why when we were talking off pod, you know what I'm saying, and I was explaining to you, I just need three main things in a relationship. Like I'm not, like I said, I'm not asking for me stuff. I'm just asking for respect, peace of mind, and support. Those are the three major things I need, and those are the three major things I know I can provide 10 times over.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm very simplistic with my needs. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't even have to go to PF Chang's. We can go to Nando's. I'm happy. You feel me? Like,
hey, man, look, PF Chang's, it wasn't even my idea, you know. She was just like, hey, you want some Webbies today? Let's go get some food. I said, all right, let's do it.
By the way, guys, his fiance listened to the pod without him introducing her to the pod. Just FYI.
Oh, you said she what?
She heard our pod before you introduced her to it, right? That's what.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So made the H-Town guys, just FYI.
So my last question, and I swear I'm done.
Hurry up, because there's Last Dance.
It's okay, man. It's okay. We I'm not in a rush.
We politicking.
You know, we just
catching up, man. I ain't seen Meadows since like a year, dog.
My last one, I'll let you brothers have all the talk.
You gotta get off Sprint. You gotta get off Sprint, y'all.
Okay, but one day I'm just messing up. You got jokes.
I can't even hear your insults. I can't hear your insults.
Hey, many got jokes. We chilling, bro. We chilling.
You understand the struggle?
All right, my last question for Meadows, because as an engaged brother, because all of us on this pod, we single brothers, and I feel like the ladies kind of like look at us and they just deem our insight on certain things don't make sense, or like they just look at us like we foolish. So, as a guy who's engaged, how did you know your fiance was the one? Like, what led you to say, "Oh, she's the one"?
I know the answer.
Because to me, when I try to like explain what I'm looking for, girls would be like, they'll be like, nah, but you got to know she's. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna ever feel that, that bubble gum, like
that spark.
Yeah, like I don't know if that shit is real.
Gum.
Whatever.
Bubble gum.
It's real. Butterflies. Bubble gum.
Maybe you would feel those butterflies when you meet the one.
That's probably diarrhea.
That's always it, bro.
That was a good one. I like that. Good job.
I think that I think like it's true what they say, like when you know, you know. I was in a long relationship for a good amount of time. I was single for like close to 2 years before I was with my girl, and I really didn't have plans of being with nobody. Honestly, like I was having a good time, just living.
Yeah, just living.
Nah, I mean, like I think when you're with somebody, if you date somebody from when you're like really, really young, and I mean, I think I became single when I was like 25, 26. And so it's like you kind of like, it's almost like you're learning yourself again. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're learning yourself like as a single person in like your mid-20s now and all that stuff. So I really just wasn't planning on like jumping into anything serious. But like as I got to like know my girl and like we had more conversations and stuff, like I couldn't not be with her. Like I think that's
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't not. Like the conversation I had with you, like you were talking about, like I couldn't not be with her. Like for me to continue to be single and like risk any kind of like future with her. Like that was the opportunity cost that I had to weigh with myself, you know. So I mean, I feel like, yeah, exactly. Like, you know, I feel like, you know, I mean, I feel like you'll know, you know, and I feel like I feel like, you know, like, I mean, I feel like, you know, like, I mean, I'll be in situations where like I fly down to Miami, go visit her, and like as soon as I touched down back in DC, like I wanted to be back in Miami again. Keep in mind, I'd actually never even been to Miami until I started dating her. And we wouldn't really do much either. Like, I mean, maybe she'll peek in, but like we didn't really do much, like a whole lot. Like we would just like, I mean, we'd like go to different beaches. We'd come in the crib, like play rummy, play dominoes, like watch movies, and like, I mean, like we were really just like kicking it. Like we were just hanging out. Like we were really just hanging out. Like she'd come to DC. Like when I met her, that was her first time in DC, and so like every time she came, we like go to like museums or different monuments and bike ride through the city and stuff. And I'd like just try to get her to like try DC stuff, like Mambo Sauce, like, you know, Half Smokes, like some DC stuff, like just, you know. You said what? Yeah, I mean everything, like, you know, just because like she would always hear from people, like, you know, people from Texas try to say like Texas has the best food, and I was like, I mean that's cool, like DC has good food too, so like I'll take her to all the like all the food spots. Yeah, you know, just everything. So yeah, I mean, like I truly feel like, yo, we went to Alero's the first, I think one of the first times we hung out, me and her, we did like the whole U Street. We did like Marvin's, Alero's, Tropicalia, like that whole like Patty Boom Boom or whatever, that whole strip. Like
Patty
we did the whole
Boom
thing.
Boom. Damn, that took me back, man.
Yeah,
Patty
you know,
Boom
we did
Boom.
the whole thing. Yeah, then the other what's the other? No, I think, is it called, or is it Cloak and Dagger now? One of those.
Cloak and Dagger, Lost Society.
Cloak and Dagger. Yeah, and yeah, we did the whole thing, like down from Marvin's, Diet Stars Monday, like when it was there, hit the corner, Tropicalia, Lost Society, Cloak and, like we did the whole thing. I think we went to Pier, like across the street, like we did the whole thing, and like, and even when we met, like we was like, even then, like it was like I buy a shot, she bought a shot. Like we were really just like trading out, just talking, getting to know each other. But anyway, like long story short, like I couldn't continue being single. Like it just wouldn't really, you know, despite what I thought I wanted, like despite what I had planned for myself, like I couldn't continue being single when after I got to know her.
And Mitty, like you said, for you, I mean, because women make butterflies. See, you know, women and men may experience it different, but that would be the equivalent of what butterflies would be. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's not like, oh, it's, you know, oh my gosh, it's sparks, it's fire, you know. But it's like, yo, you just like, man, she dope as a mug. Like you've never had this type of connection with another girl, and you're like, bruh, yeah, it ain't worth it to keep doing life how you doing. You know what I'm saying? Going to Patty Boom Boom, you know, try to get these numbers. Like, yo, just she that dope that you just want to keep vibing with her every day, bro.
Let me
just lock it down
before we progress on, Mike. What
spots
has she introduced to you in H-Town as a new resident there?
Wait. What did you say?
I said, what spots has she introduced to you as a new resident to H-Town?
Prospect Park.
Prospect Park.
The Galleria.
When I tell you I love Prospect Park, bro, Prospect Park. It was so lit, bro. Oh,
I got some funny videos from the last time I was at Prospect Park.
Prospect is a good one. Like, I mean, usually, especially like, I mean, it's about to be summertime. It's already summertime down here. It's just, you know, people Corona, but like, yeah, I mean, like Prospect Park is a great one. Like, I mean, we've had a lot of fun just like going down. And the beautiful thing, bro, about Texas is like everything is so cheap. Like, bro, like a table at Prospect is just like a couple $100, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, which is like, for me coming from DC, you know, like, bro, that's big worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we like when we go out, I'm like, man, let's just get a table. Like, call your friends or whatever. Because even if we choose to split it, if we don't, I mean, it's just a whole lot. You just come out. It just makes more sense. Like, you know, it just makes sense. Prospect is a good one. The Address is a good one. And I don't know, a couple other places, like just like the whole Midtown area, like they've got like a bunch of bars and like good restaurants. The Galleria area, of course, there's a lot of traffic down there.
Hella traffic.
Like if you want,
Center,
yeah,
Galleria.
yeah, City
man.
Center, Galleria,
Man,
all that's real cool.
Life, bro. I was in Sugarland playing soccer with a bunch of Africans, bro, every week, man. Houston, bro.
Yeah. I mean, and then like the African community in Houston is very big.
Immaculate, man. All them Igbo people out there, man.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Igbo, a lot of Yoruba. I mean, it's a lot of people out here. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, it's nice. I mean, it's nice if you could take the heat and the humidity. It's a beautiful life, man.
Okay, well, we appreciate, you know what I'm saying, you being so candid, not only about your relationship, but you know, your
King Mitty was on his Oprah Winfrey today, man.
Yeah, man. I didn't even know we were
talking,
gonna go
man.
there.
We just talking.
I'm not mad at it, bro.
I honestly wanted to ask you about the Last Dance. You know what I'm saying? Since
man, that's that. Yeah, man.
I want to know how you feel. What was your thoughts on all 10 series? Just understand that Yao hasn't watched it, so you know what I'm saying.
All right, so this is what I'll first say before we even go into like. This is what I first say about the Last Dance before we even like go into detail about anything else. Michael Jordan, despite what anybody wants to say, is the best player to play the game of basketball. Like, and I say that from a place of no. Like anybody who even dares like put LeBron James, who like I really appreciate what LeBron James does. Anybody who tries to put any other player in the same category as Michael Jordan, like we're not talking basketball anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're not talking about basketball. It's not a basketball conversation. So it's like I'm not even gonna talk to you if we're talking hoop.
That's the goal of the Last Dance. If your man is the best, you just let the world choose. You don't have to force feed it to us over and over again.
That's what I'm saying.
During a quarantine. You understand what I'm saying?
Nah, bro.
You understand what I'm saying?
Bro.
It's called propaganda. Oh,
nah,
no,
bro. They did that because there was nothing else to watch on TV. That joint was supposed to come out till July. Like they just threw that out there.
So when is the Kareem documentary coming on? When is the Oscar Robertson documentary coming
footage,
on?
But here's the thing, bro.
When is the Iceman and George Gervin documentary coming on?
Gervin?
Yo,
bro.
This is what I'm saying.
Hey, yo.
Human beings are prisoners of the moment, bro.
How many people
what I'm saying?
This has nothing to do with
George Gervin.
This has nothing to do with this has nothing to do with the moment, bro. Like this has nothing to do with the moment.
It does.
I want to make this
bro, this has nothing to do with the moment.
They had the Bad Boys yeah.
We are prisoners, bro.
It's a 30 for 30. That's Bad Boys 30 for 30, dog.
Bro, people asked for this. ESPN only did. That's fine. They were villains. That they were called the Bad Boys. They didn't have to vilify them. People knew what they were already. Like they didn't. They
bought in. They came.
That's who they were. They called themselves that. Like here's the thing, bro. Like here's the thing, and this is like it's not even just about basketball. Like it's not even just about basketball anymore, bro. Like it's about life.
Hey,
like
Professor Meadows.
Life.
It's about life. No, listen.
Let my man land.
Let me land. Let him land, bro. Let me land, bro. Like first of all, like people always like before the Last Dance, you had people who maybe weren't so familiar with Jordan's career who said he was the best player just based off of like anecdotes, highlights here and there. I feel like seeing the Last Dance, it really allowed people who like weren't basketball historians or like sport historians, like most of us are, just like casually
like
actually see like what this guy was about. Like Michael Jordan did and does, like why I say it's about life is that he does what you actually need to do to be great. Like if you take his approach to the game and you put that into anything you do, bro, like you cannot fail. And that's why, like, for me, I have a big respect for Jordan. I have, like, a very big respect for for what the Chicago Bulls did for Phil Jackson, that whole squad. Like a lot of people try to say like, oh, he had Pippen. Yeah, he had Pippen, but he also left, and you saw what Pippen did without him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so it's like, yeah, he had a squad, but like also at the end of the day, like that squad wasn't just balling because they were just that nice. They were balling because you had somebody there who was pushing them. And honestly, like when you're part of a team, like I mean, like when you're part of a team, and I've had like many conversations with people since this whole thing has been on TV. Like you can't win nothing by yourself. And the beauty about Jordan is when he got to the Bulls in '84. They weren't good. They were trash. They were losing. Zeke and the Bad Boys were dogging them. Dennis Rodman dogging them. What's his name? Oh boy.
Larry Bird.
Larry Bird dogging them. Magic dogging them. Everybody was dogging them. I think like what fueled Jordan's greatness, bro, in that Bulls era,
the losses
that a lot of people take for granted is the losses. And like the reason why he had to push those teams so hard. Steve Kerr ain't know what it felt like to lose on the Bulls. Dennis Rodman ain't know what it felt like to lose on the Bulls. Scott Burrell ain't know what it felt like to lose on the Bulls. They ain't know what it felt like to get bitched out the playhouse, dog. None of them did. The only person who really did was Jordan and Pippen. None of them other dudes had to really feel that. And so it's like, it's kind of like it's like right now, if me and you are playing, if we're doing anything together, we're like in business together. And like we've been in business for 5 years because he got drafted 84. He won his first ring 91. So for 7 years, me and you just been losing, bro. Every time we get close to making a deal, we lose. Then all of a sudden we just start winning. We making buckets, we getting big bags, and we growing our team. Everybody on the team just feels like, yeah, we just win it. No, you win because you knew what it felt like to lose. And because they didn't know, he had to keep pushing them and pushing them and pushing them. And there hasn't been too many players that have had that same type of impact on their teams. Yeah, I know. I said there hasn't been too many players. I didn't say there hasn't been a player.
In terms of my prisoner of the moment statement, I'm just going to ask every player that we can say is on the Mount Rushmore. Forget about LeBron. I don't sit here and champion LeBron are the best. I like him more than Jordan, but I don't sit here and say he's the best ever. I don't say he's the GOAT.
You like him more than
why
do you like him more than Jordan? I'm just asking. I don't really have a stance. I just want to hear you.
If I'm going to turn somebody into a god, you understand what I'm saying? I have to look at the totality of your existence and say I'm on an accord with you, the way you represent yourself, and the things you do on the court, off the court, as a brand, everything. I don't feel that connection with Michael Jordan, and I never will. I don't. So my whole thing is that if I say the Mount Rushmore players, right? We all grew up the same eras together. Do they get the same amount of media, flu game, sneakers, all that? Do they get the same amount of depth of analysis, of understanding as the other players? They do not. Michael Jordan gets it on a much higher scale. So, of course, the people will default as a status quo choice. Jordan is the best ever. Jordan is the best ever. You understand what I'm saying? It's like how some people would say prior to Obama, Bill Clinton is the best ever. But in actuality, Bill Clinton brought 3 strikes laws. He brought all this stuff that messed up with black people. But if you actually dig into it, that's not the case. How many people know about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? How many people really have looked into Wilt? How many people have really Isaiah Thomas? Like, just go check it out. People are just learning about a lot of these people. So I respect your opinion, Mike. I'm not downing it.
Well, the problem is, bro, like you can't even talk about Wilt. Like Wilt was balling in the 70s, dog. Like it wasn't even the same game.
That's
all them milkmen and plumbers that he was playing.
Kareem's out there. Magic is out
Kareem
there, bro.
It's not but people talk about Magic.
People talk about Magic, bro. There's a lot of players.
Huh? Yeah, but people talk about Magic though. Like I don't understand what you're saying. Like people talk about Magic.
They don't talk about him in the same breath and manner.
But
because he wasn't Jordan though. Like you
the marketing behind Jordan.
The marketing behind Jordan was different.
What?
The marketing behind
Mitty said what? Different. Why?
Because his approach to the game was different, bro. No. It's not your point.
This is
bro,
my thing. But no.
Yeah, you're hating on a man because he had
let me
good
tell you
marketing
this.
behind him.
Hey,
Bro, the marketing behind him was only
Jordan,
different.
If people say, if a whole generation says Jordan is the best, a lot of companies get paid. A lot of people, ESPN moved it up because of ad sponsorship money. People are sitting there in the same tweet saying Jordan is the GOAT and showing shoes sales that they're putting out shoes and people are buying them in wholesale now.
I bought them.
He's actually turning up the economy.
Bro, people
And
were
so
buying
what?
the shoes regardless.
Money's in
though. But
And what's wrong with that?
That's not the point, Mitty. That's not basketball, bro.
Bro, people
that
will
has
buy
nothing
the
to
shoes
do with whether you're the GOAT. That gives me an emotional connection to you, though. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If Kareem, all right, if a generation says Kareem is the best, nobody gets paid. That's all what I'm saying. If we say Kareem is the best, who gets paid?
Bro,
Tell me
Kareem.
4 companies that get paid. That's all what I'm saying. So that's the media machine. Mike, you are the odd man for now. That's all what I'm saying, bro. But I respect, and everybody's point is valid. That is my
Hey,
hand.
Mike, let me jump in. Mike, let me jump in. Now, because even the doc talked about it, back when, MJ hopped on with Nike, Nike was nothing. You know what I'm saying?
That's my point. I was
so
just
he's the reasoning why Nike is what Nike is.
Nike was a track company, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, Gatorade wasn't that popping back then either.
No, yeah. Gatorade was not popping in '86, bro.
Yeah, so a lot of the companies that are what they are today is actually due to Michael Jordan. He plays a big reason why.
And he did that without social media.
Because Converse was the ish back then. And,
exactly. And Adidas.
You remember what's the Run DMC? My Adidas. And Magic Johnson signed the
weapons.
Yeah, so him and
Yes, I'm about to counter you on a Nike point because Bo Jackson was there, bro. Bo Jackson was the face before him.
What year?
Bo Jackson got hurt.
What year, bro? What year, bro?
Look up for yourself.
Nah, bro, you brought it up. You support your
What year did Bo?
Do you remember Bo Knows and the Nike symbol?
Yes.
Bo Jackson was the biggest athlete in USA.
Yeah, what year did? But also. You have to. Bo Jackson played football and baseball.
That's amazing, bro.
So like them. But I'm saying, but them dudes like those are not shoes that they wear cleats when they play. You get what I'm saying? So you don't look at them and say,
they're not shoes that you wear out.
Exactly, they wear cleats.
That's I get that, but
look at Mitty.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, bro.
Selling basketball.
Mitty,
but Mitty, that sale for me, when I'm looking at it objectively, that right there is a reason to push down Kareem and others and to push the idea and opinion that this guy is.
Bro. Honestly, bro, let me
go.
Hey, I love you, dog. You sound like a big hater.
That's a lot of money to hold in your hand, bro.
You're saying that Jordan. So you're saying that lifting Jordan up was to push other people down. That's what you're saying right now.
What I'm saying is that
when his bro, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson from their own mouth said that Jordan was better than them.
But here's the thing though. I can go back and show you evidence of Magic Johnson saying people are better than Jordan too. Magic Johnson is a businessman also. Like look at the way he played the game. He's a very altruistic human being. You understand what I'm saying? I can find Jordan teammates that say Jordan wasn't the best ever. So that one person absolutely nothing.
You said you could find them? Put them on the pod, bro.
I can find multiple Jordan teammates.
Horace Grant.
Sally has said it. Scottie Pippen has said it. So many players have said it. John Sally has said it. Scottie Pippen has said it. That he's not the best ever. He did say that before.
Hey, Bo Jackson started with Nike in '89, by the way.
Which is after Jordan.
MJ.
Thank you very much.
That's true. But when Jordan's
so your whole
marketing
point
push
is
got big,
done, bro. No. Look at you. You try to bring some stuff.
The thing is,
as pro black. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna counter with my own stats then. Since You see, this is what I'm saying. 1, 2, 3, 4 against 1.
No. Yeah. Yeah. You looking at a match. Don't do that.
Agenda is about the documentary.
Everybody know Fem Dizzle is Kobe. So don't do that, bro. Don't put Michael Jordan on me.
So all I asked, hey, you feel about the documentary? That's all I asked, and he told
me. I thought the documentary was the documentary. Let's just take a step back because Yao and his feelings. The documentary was masterful, bro. The documentary was masterful, like from a creative standpoint, like just the cinematography, like for most of that footage to have been shot in '98, like I mean, it was impeccable. That Jordan 4 is great, man. That Jordan 4 came out in '89. Like a lot of that documentary, I think it really just, if anything that it does for the average person, I think it really should show like you get what you put in. Like for real, like you get what you put in. Like, and that's yeah. I mean, and like just to tell the story about like how the team formed, the way they played, how they had to change their offense, like like even like Jordan's growth as a player, having to trust his teammates, and they're talking about the things that he had to deal with in his life, which like for me, not all those things were like things I knew, but like to see the story being told in the way that it was, I thought was like really, really dope. Like it makes every other documentary not feel as good. Like I don't know if y'all saw the Durant jump. There's something in the water.
What you think of that?
Underwhelming. It was underwhelming.
See, but I think it was only underwhelming because we seen The Last Dance. I feel like if The Last Dance wasn't out, I feel like we would have been like, yo, that was tight. But I think because we had The Last Dance, I feel like that it made it underwhelming.
No, but I think the Durant one was just they shortened it.
It was too short. It should have been a series.
It should have been longer.
Yeah.
That was my biggest problem. I told the guys I felt like there was 6 stories put in 50 minutes, and that was unfair to us.
Like you could have gone. They could have did a good 30 minutes on DeMatha itself.
Yeah, just on DeMatha.
30 minutes on Len Bias.
On DC Assault, Len Bias, going into Quinn Cook's story, like Nolan Smith, Beasley, like a lot of those guys. Like
they didn't talk about Steve Francis. They didn't talk about Oladipo's story at all.
Steve Francis, Oladipo.
I mean, even for The Last Dance, I felt like there was certain stories shouldn't have dragged that long. But I understand why they did it like that because of timing and moving the documentary up and all that. So I understand all that. But I felt that I definitely was heavy critical on how they did it, but I understand why they did it.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think there definitely could have been improvements. Yeah, bro, I watch it again. But the thing is, like, I watch it again, I think, like, I played basketball, like, but I watch it again, not even from the standpoint of Jordan, but from for me, like, that's the kind of stuff that I see that, like, keeps me going, bro. Like the amount of work that you have to put into something to become great. Like for me, it's almost like watching a motivational video on YouTube.
And you should watch, you should watch the Kareem doc then, bro. You get motivated.
I seen it, bro. Like I seen every doc, the Rodman, Kareem, Bad Boys, the U, all of, like, I watch all that stuff because to me, it's like to me, I think the best part of people's stories is like seeing the amount of work you have to put in, bro. Like you can't say that Jordan was handed wins, bro. Like you just can't. Like and if you do, like you're not really somebody who you're not gonna go far in life because you don't understand the work. You don't understand the work that it takes to succeed, bro. Like like before we got live, like we were talking about like working and people moving on from different jobs and stuff. Like what it took for like everybody on this call has like a good job. What it takes to get to where you're at, bro. Like so I feel like deep down inside, like you have to be able to appreciate. Like we've all on this call like not had money. We've all on this call like desperately wanted to have like that good job. And how much work, whether it was like going to get more certs, going back to school, just like putting that time in to get to a place where like you're like, all right, bet I finally have some respect. I finally have like options for myself. And even now, like a lot of us still see ourselves as like still needing to keep putting in that work. So for me, like it's like for me, there's like a parallel between like basketball and me as like a former basketball player and a fan. But then it's like just like my everyday life, bro. Like even like the way I approach like my relationship sometimes, like the way I approach my business, the way I approach like my own friendships. Like I have friends who I literally like I push because like I can't be your friend and like you're not carrying your weight. Like, you know what I mean? Like, cause I feel like even just like you get to a point where like you can't be making $150,000 doing senior consulting this, and you got friends who making $40,000. What do y'all talk about?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what do y'all like? You get to a point where you don't even got nothing in common anymore.
You talking
know what
about
I'm saying?
life, bro. You talking about life.
No, because your life is.
Gotta pull them up, Mike.
No, but
you
that's
gotta pull them up, dog.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If they're not coming up with you, you get to a point where it's like we have nothing to even talk about anymore. Because now it's like my problems, you can't even relate. I'm talking to you about like, man, I'm trying to back $650,000 off this loan to get a crib, and you talking to me about like how you can't pay your $1,000 rent portion of the rent with your room.
You gotta look out for them a little bit. You gotta tell him, hey, go my man over there teaching IT classes. Go take my man class.
Well, I mean, no, I'm not saying to like leave them. I'm not saying you don't look out for them. But what I'm saying is like you have to keep pushing them. And if they don't come up with you,
I agree with that in the push. And
exactly.
That's how you push them. You know, like yo, you try this. Yeah, I agree with that. Bro.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of parallels with it, like in life, like you know, like or like even getting so close and like having to like somebody like the Bad Boy Pistons, bro, like constantly be like in the way of you getting to where you're trying to go. Like how many times have you like made it to like the last round of interviews, the second to last round of this, like where you're almost chosen, bro. Like, you know that like, bro, on another day I would have had, like they would have sent me the offer. And for whatever reason, you don't get it. Like that's the type of stuff, like depending on the type of person you are, bro, like that fuels me like no other, dog. Like I be looking at stuff and I'm like, man, like I'm constantly thinking of how I can take niggas out, dog. Like just like like how I can take niggas out and how I can push my niggas like to keep going up. Because if you're not, bro, like life is, you know, we're gonna get to a place where life is real weird. Like
that's
where like, yeah, you know, where like your boys who like are your boys from like back in the day and like from when you were younger, they can't really be your boys in the same way that they were because y'all aren't at the same spot. Like, and so to me, I feel like that's why I say like I rewatched that documentary because, bro, like, I mean, where have you seen that type of work ethic, bro? Like, I don't think you.
And that can lead us to insecure, man.
Well, that was the point before y'all went on y'all stat run and y'all shoebox picking up and all of that.
I haven't watched the recent episode, by the way.
Oh, come on,
Moon Man, no rebuttal? Because I thought were you doing research over there?
No, the rebuttal
to the MJ talk.
Nah, man, you can't sway people off that, bro. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta leave them with some facts and let them simmer on it. That's all.
Moon Man's hate for MJ is like my love for Otto Porter, man.
I mean, I'm just gonna say
it's unknown and you can't describe it, son.
all I'm saying is y'all can put it in your own mental quarter law. It's a quarantine. I've been saying this for like 10 years plus, as long as y'all know. All I'm saying is
yeah.
And they're releasing lost tapes of the what is it? Meadows, I haven't watched a second of it. It hasn't added or subtracted to my life yet.
Wait, you haven't watched a second of what?
The documentary.
I said that in the beginning that he hasn't watched it.
No, bro, why would I watch this nonsense? Because I lived it, bro. I watched this stuff with my own eyes.
But now you were a kid. You were a kid then.
How old were you?
It doesn't matter.
Born in what, 88?
Because every year of your life they show.
Yeah, I was born in 86.
Oh,
86. I was born in 86, bro.
86.
Flu game footage every year.
Old as shit.
It wasn't a flu game. It's the food poison.
It was a food poison game.
That wasn't no food poison. That was Hennessy.
Poison.
Hennessy.
So every year I watched Space Jam when I was like every year they show the same footage of that step back on a no name bum 5 points per game player knockdown shot. When do we see the Kareem footage? When have y'all seen footage of the Isaiah Thomas ankle game when he dropped 25 in a quarter versus the prime Showtime Lakers?
We saw that in the Bad Boys doc.
Saw it in the Bad Boys doc.
You did see it in the Bad Boys doc. While they vilified that Mob 2 or whatever. Anyway, but it's cool. It is what it is.
Bruh.
You know what I mean? I looked it up.
How are you called the bad boys, and you're talking about them being vilified?
Because who calls them that? It's the media. Why do we act like we don't know what the media is?
They called themselves that.
They did not call themselves in that time. They did not call themselves the Bad Boys Pistons. In retrospect, everyone calls the Bad Boy Pistons, so that's what makes them notable. So they go by that. That's all, bro. That's just all. That's okay. And I'm actually not anti-Jordan. I'm actually just objective. That's how bad it is.
I am, but I mean, I'm just saying. Hey man, that's how life works. You talk about marketing. I mean, they do that now with LeBron James.
I just ask one question to y'all. If you guys can tell me a response to this question, I would drop it forever. If Kareem Abdul-Jabbar goes down as the best player ever, how many companies will get paid? That's all. If you can rebut
but Yao, okay, it's like saying no. Listen to this. It's like saying, oh, is Nas the best rapper or whatever? But it's like it's not just about your skill. It's like, are you the best statistic person? But it's like, how's your oral presentation? How's your people skill? It's kind of like I could be a great therapist, but if I have issues with building rapport, like I actually know the job. But there's other aspects to what the job entails. You get what I'm saying?
And you gotta also think, how many black athletes were getting sponsorships at that time like that? We were getting deals like that back then. So you can't fault Jordan for coming in at the time that he did and doing what he's doing. Just like you can't fault niggas like Russell Westbrook for getting the contracts that they're getting now, because they just came in at a different time. But Jordan just happened to come in at the right time. Sometimes you do have a bit of luck on your side.
I'm not knocking that, but all I'm saying is that from my analysis, if I'm going to look at it, I choose to look at the totality. That's all. That's it. So I'm not gonna weigh marketing hype. I'm not gonna weigh elementary schoolers or middle schoolers that are wearing shoes that raise their social status in a public school setting up, so you have an emotional connection to it. That's not going to weigh in on my argument for who's the best because of how I choose to look at it. You understand what I'm saying? And I reserve that right. And my thing is, I refuse to apply for that. I'm very comfortable with not liking them. I'm okay with it. It's cool.
I'm just tired of hearing this conversation all the time.
I find more people are more uncomfortable with me not liking him than anything else, bro. And it's like, yo, can I live my own life, bro?
I'm not uncomfortable with that. Like, I mean, I'm not uncomfortable with it.
And that's why
I'm uncomfortable with it now.
You know what I'm saying? You don't even watch basketball, but you don't like.
No, because I've been part of this conversation for too many times now.
Biddy,
so
what team does Devontae Graham play on, bro?
Huh?
What team does Devontae?
He said Devontae Graham.
What team we play on, bro?
Hey, you don't play for the Wizards. That's all I know. I don't give a fuck.
He plays for Michael Jordan.
Hey, I watch all the Wizards games, so I don't watch no Hornets game.
Finally move forward to Insecure because we lost all our women listeners from y'all debating.
It's okay.
Anyways, so catching up on 2 episodes because we didn't. Did we leave out 3 episodes?
We skipped the episode, so.
Okay, well, 2 episodes. We saw the dynamic between Molly and Issa go sour, and then we saw this recent episode with Issa pretty much. I don't know how to describe it, but she was going through. She was reminiscing about the event and what happened, and friends were checking up on her and what happened, and it was pretty much a reflective episode. The way they have it set up is that this episode is Issa without Molly, and then the following episode is going to be Molly without Issa. As y'all know, last week was a little spicy. 2 weeks ago was a little spicy. You know what I'm saying? People felt some type of way about, Molly saying that she not going to help Issa. And then on top of that, Issa went behind her back to ask somebody else to ask Molly's boyfriend to assist her in her block party. So how do y'all feel about that?
Meadows, you want to go in first, or
Nah, somebody could go first. I have
all right,
thoughts though, but somebody could
all
go
right.
first.
So for me, I think it's a multifaceted, multi-layered thing.
Agreed.
Um, and a friendship, this is a friendship that's just, they're hitting some bumps on the road, which happens sometimes. But the thing is, you got to just be adult about things. They were very passive aggressive, mostly because of Issa, because that's just her way of handling things. Molly tried on numerous and numerous occasions to have a conversation with her, but it just never came to fruition. And a lot of that was due to Issa's doing. So I will fault Issa on that. However, with the blow up, I think Molly got it misconstrued because if she wants to say, okay, I set boundaries, that is very important, and she's well within her right to do that in her relationship. And I hope that all you guys do that with your relationships. You got to have some boundaries. But I would say Issa going to Nathan to ask him did nothing to the boundary that Molly set, because her dude is not gonna be like, oh man, your homegirl asks my roommate, my man's, to help him, and then he's not gonna blame Molly for that. So that has nothing to do with the boundary, the so-called boundary Molly set in her relationship. Right or wrong? Do y'all agree with that or not?
I'm with that.
Exactly. So the fact that she's still going on, I set this boundary, yeah, but you're forgetting that your man, that you met him through this other dude that I dealt with, that you only met your man because of that, because she met him at Coachella. So it's like she went to him to go through him. Granted, in the grand scheme of friendships, that may be a little shady, whatever, but it did nothing to that boundary. However, because of all the issues they've been having, she just used that to kind of, displace all those feelings, because she's probably been feeling like, yo, Issa is a user or this and that. So that was just the trigger. But I think Molly was effed up for bringing it up at her event. Like, do it not in that time. You can bring it up some other time, but not in that time, because it's like, yo, this is something she's been working so hard on. And we talk about friendships that are, Meadows brought up, man, if you're making this amount of money and your friends, that's
I was just
literally
gonna
Molly.
say that. That's what I was gonna say too.
That's Molly and Issa, right? So now that your friend is trying to pull herself up, you want to blow up at her event. It's like, dang, you could actually mess her up. So be mindful of that if y'all are really friends. So I would say they both have their faults. And in different instances, they each faulted.
I'm going to add to what Femi said real quick. And I'm going to let y'all go because I feel like I done talked a lot at this point. The thing is, like Meadow has said, that when you see your friends that are low and you have to pull, you're up there, your friends are down here, and you got to pull them up. So what's going on now is that we see, okay, hey.
I asked her to come up here because she also has thoughts on this insecure stuff.
Okay,
so
pull up a chick.
I'm gonna have her give us a guest opinion.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just land real quick. But the thing is, when you see your friends that are coming up as well, you have an option to accept it or don't accept it. Most people, what logic and reason and common sense will tell you, you want the best for your friends. You want to accept that they're moving on and they're progressing. But there are some female relationships that are that toxic that they don't accept that. They like, let me not say females, because it's people in general. It's men, women, males.
I'm with you, bro.
It's everyone that does it too. Because I have some friends that I can see like that too.
Hey.
Where they prefer how things used to be, or they prefer the way things are.
They prefer when he was a bummy nigga.
Yeah, they don't see the change. They don't want the change to go. They always reminisce on the older days. And it's like, you can't stay that way.
They not your friends, bro.
Yeah.
So my take is, I'm still kind of, I think their dynamic shifted because they were truthful with one another in terms of how they may have, like, felt about something, in terms of like whether it was a relationship or what was going on in their life. I think episode 1 and 2 kind of showed that, but they weren't forthcoming with that. They took offense. So because they weren't forthcoming that they took offense to what their friend said to them, everything now is spilling over. Because to be honest, I don't honestly comprehend why Molly said she wouldn't do that favor, you know. But in I guess if you look at it from Molly's perspective too, there's times that I wanted to talk to my best friend, but I guess she wasn't available, right? Maybe mentally or you know, maybe within the dynamic of the conversation, she tried to press or push her issues on to Issa. And maybe Issa wasn't having time for it because of, you know what I'm saying, everybody's gonna say her name wrong, but I'm gonna say her name right, you know what I'm saying?
Condola.
And you know, whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? I personally found it funny when somebody called her conduit. I thought that was hilarious.
Condoleezza Rice.
Condoleezza, all of that, you know what I'm saying? So I think
is even accurate.
So I think, by the way, she's a witch for leaving Issa High.
Hey, she a cutie though. I think she a cutie. So
she's still a witch for leaving Issa High and dry. Nonetheless,
Condola, baby.
Long story less long. I think they're both offended at what happened in I guess whatever time frame between episode 1, 2, and possibly 3, but they didn't want to acknowledge it. And they didn't want to say it to each other, but they I guess they wanted to hash it out. But they made it, but between them, they made it awkward. So it was almost like, you know, at this point, we just gonna really, you know what I'm saying, be feisty. So that's how I seen it.
You got something to say? You got something?
No. I was saying, you know, let your queen talk, bro.
All right.
My whole thing is like, what is Molly's real beef though? Because like to me, it seems like Molly just got really offended when they were hiking and Issa was like, yo, I don't really want to say what I want to say, but I know you're gonna get mad. And Molly was like, just say it, girl. And Issa was just like, yeah, sometimes you like problems. And it was a real assessment of Molly, which she does like to complicate things. And so like, if your homegirl can't tell you that, then who's gonna be able to tell you that? It's not gonna sound better coming from the Asian guy. It's not gonna sound better coming from your brother, your mama, nobody. So like, what is she really mad at? What's her beef? And another thing I can't appreciate is like, do y'all say nigga on this podcast?
Nigga.
How do you ride for this nigga that you've been dating for like 6 weeks, like harder than you ride for your friend that you've been friends with for like 12 years? That like make sense to me. Like, if he says, no, I can't get you that performer, like, that's the worst he could say.
So I'll say this, right? With Issa asking for her, asking Molly for help, my only issue with that is I've been trying to have a one-on-one sit-down with you for a minute. Molly's been trying to have that one-on-one sit-down with Issa. And Issa's been ducking her.
She's been curving her.
So how can you now want to have that come asking me for help when you've been ducking, you know, a conversation that we're supposed to have? Like, when I think in that episode when Molly had picked up the phone, she's thinking like, all right, they're really about to have that talk at this time.
Exactly.
And then Issa just kind of was like, hey, can you know, help a nigga out?
Like, but the thing is though, for me, even when Molly picked up the phone, if I remember correctly, I don't even think she really asked like how she was doing. She just like went and started talking about all her problems. Like, I think Molly always expects Issa to just always be available. And
she's sick in the head.
Like, and what I didn't like about it was like Molly acts like Issa to everybody else in her life. Like, she was with the Asian dude and was like, oh, like I need till 9:30, and then like looks up and it's 1:42, and like, oh, I'm done working now. Like, I'm ready to smash nigga. Like, that's not how that works. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm surprised he was still there. Like, you know, like no nigga would have been like cool. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
he fell asleep.
Maybe he felt the butterflies.
I don't think so, because even before he was saying to her, like he had called her out. Like, I mean, you always working, so I make plans. You know what I'm saying? Like, So I feel like, I mean, yeah, they had a conversation. Like they were both trying to talk, or like they were expecting to have this one-on-one. But I think with Molly, like she always expected Issa to be there. And honestly,
Thanksgiving though, like did they ever plan to have the one-on-one before Thanksgiving?
Yeah, they were supposed to earlier.
They were supposed to, and Issa had bought Condola to the thing.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
So that little Sunday, whatever.
Yeah, the Sunday self-care Sunday.
Yeah,
why can't I just say nah? Condola's gotta go.
She tried, but then she ain't want to be the bitch.
But I mean, if you were gonna,
got to though, like it's not for you to try to preserve somebody's feelings. She don't even know her.
But it can be dicey.
You're not gonna be rude to some random person you don't know.
Because at the time, Condola was helping her.
She flipped her hair. She flipped her hair. She about to get real.
If me and my homegirl, like because it seemed like Molly only got one best friend in this Easter. If me and my best friend got to talk about something and we have centered this day time to talk about it over this brunch, Condola, baby, you gotta go, because what we got going on, it don't really concern you, and I don't really want to talk to you about it. If you want me to come back in an hour, I can come back in an hour. But Molly should have said, because Issa gave her a way to say it. Issa was like, "Oh, do you mind if he stays?" And you don't have to be like, "No, but you gotta go." You can be like, "Actually, I do kind of mind because I want to like have a conversation with you, and it's kind of personal." I don't think Condola would have got mad at that.
Your relationships are healthier though. There's this. For me, the bottom line is I think that both of them are like off.
Well, I think that like, so here's my thing. Like, I think that like Issa has been kind of struggling the entire series. She finally hit a groove where she found something she liked, and she's like actually busy. Like this whole season, Issa's been grinding. Just like Molly's been grinding since season 1. Molly's been grinding. Molly's always on the job. She's staying late in the office. She's working on the case. So now it's like, now that Issa finally has something that's keeping her busy, she's doing good. She's like got a little team. She's working with Condoleezza. She's doing this. She's doing that. And it's like, now people want to be like, oh, well, Issa was supposed to, like, no, Issa was busy too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she was busy.
And why did Molly like want her to fail? Like, did y'all get those vibes like from that fourth episode?
Yeah, like I said, I don't understand why she did
not. Like she was all like, oh, like, okay, look at this thing. And even her dude was like, I mean, yeah, like this is good, right? Like, what's wrong with that? And she was like, I mean, like, yeah, who knew this many people would come? It's like, why are you like, that's not your friend, like you said, Femi, like you said earlier, like
whoever is Femi on this, I agree.
Yeah,
that's not her friend.
Like, that's not your friend. If your friend comes to something that you're doing and is like, oh, like, you know, this, that, and the third, or even her attitude about going, like, you should be able to squash that and just go. She's like, oh, well, what am I even gonna wear? And her dude was like, I mean, it's whatever, it's LA. Like, you.
And I thought that was a harder question to answer. LA weather kind of be iffy sometimes.
Because you live out there now, bro. Like, come on, don't even
sometimes.
Don't even try.
It'd be iffy.
Y'all go ahead. You was gonna get your perspective.
Well, I mean, all right. I think Marla is like really messed up in the head, like beyond understanding. Like, I think beyond a point any of us can really fathom. Because I think, first of all, I didn't see the last episode, so anyone should cover something that was already clarified. Just shoot me, Bell. Mindy, I'm looking at you. But they highlighted the whole situation about her beef with her father. That really doesn't have nothing to do with the show per se. But it's showing that, like, Molly is, like, she can only see the world from, like, her own. It's like, how do I feel about stuff? Everything has to stop to suit me. It's so bad. Yeah. Like, why? Like, I'm trying to tell you, like, if I was the brother, I wouldn't even waste my time to try and console her. Why? Is it your issue? What's wrong with that girl? So I think
that's what family does, y'all. That's what family do.
Nah, but that level.
She also tell her in this past episode, like, that don't have nothing to do with you. So
which the brother did.
Mm-hmm. Saying also can be like, just get over it. It's not. How does this, like, it's okay, move on. We've all moved on. Make that choice too. You should be that mature. That's also what family can do. So that's what I think. I think, like,
also the
we've
thing
seen
is, like,
Molly and some.
If your mom chose to stay, then like she chose to stay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not really your, like, you know, I mean, I haven't been
another level of you weren't there when they met in 1970.
Right.
Like,
That's what I was just about to say. Like, you don't know what you
shut
don't
up.
really know your parents'
That's your
relationship.
life.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
it. That's your own life.
as somebody who's that was it really still, you know, I don't make that my business. You feel me? So, I mean, you know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? All I can control is my own choices and my life. But I think Molly, she's like y'all said, she has like this narrow track mind where
she seems like a control freak.
She is definitely very much of a control freak. And if y'all remember, like when she was dealing with Dro prior to that, she's like, man, my parents, you know, they've been together for this. So this like her idea of what a relationship is. And she used to just go through dudes, you know, because she's just seeking this perfection thing. And then as soon as she found out her dad had cheated on her mom, that's the same episode she ended up smashing Dro for the first time. You know what I'm saying? And then like it's like she just thinks the world is supposed to be this perfection. When she was in this law firm, she used to complain, and she got to this firm, it's like, you know, she also, oh, my old law firm, they used to do this, you know, like she just lived in this fairy tale Disney world. And so it's hard for her to navigate the reality of reality. Like she wouldn't make it during this corona, because in her world, like corona can never exist. You get what I'm saying? In her world, like, oh, my parents are perfection. They never cheated. They've been married. They just renewing their vows. You know what I'm saying? Like
everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Right.
That's it.
But she's her friend too, because
that is not even weird.
who tries to talk to their friend in the middle of their event? Like you literally like coming to bring her wings to have like some in-depth conversation. You're like trying to have this conversation, and then you go call her out at the end of her event, like as if you couldn't call her this morning and be like, yo, you asked whoever if they could get the artist. Like that's not her friend. Like sometimes you just gotta like let that go. Issa don't really need Molly for nothing right now.
See, I think based on what everyone said, I think Molly's character in the show is more interesting than Issa's character. I'll say that. Like I'm not talking about who's right or who's wrong, but I'm talking about like their character itself. Like Molly's character has more depth than Issa's character.
Yeah. I mean, but
yeah.
Of course.
It's starting to hit her stride though, because like
I think that's debatable though.
Get introduced to like Issa's, like I don't know, I don't remember if I've ever seen like Issa's mom prior to this episode.
Like done with Lawrence, so we're gonna we got y'all. Like I feel like Issa is definitely. I feel
Issa's arc has been she's awkward and she's just now learning how to handle her awkwardness. Molly's whole
like she also had the whole like she was supporting a nigga who was like not doing nothing.
Again, that goes back to her being awkward.
He was depressed. He was depressed.
Awkward?
Mental health. He was depressed.
I'm not gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. Lawrence is disappointing the boys. So this, you know.
Yeah.
But Molly goes from seeing the world based on how she sees it because of everything that's happened to her, her family having this nice profession, to now it's like, and you got to keep in mind, earlier on, she was only, oh, I want me a brother. I can only have a brother. Mm-hmm. So now she's like, you're seeing her evolve as a person.
Exactly.
So I think her evolution is more.
I feel like you're seeing Issa equally evolve. I think it's just recency bias. I feel like we're now seeing Molly evolve more. So you feel like that there's more to her character. But I feel like we've been seeing, like, I feel like Issa's equally evolved, like has equally evolved through the series, but like Molly's just seems a little more dramatic.
Y'all think Tiffany husband is her baby daddy?
Nah, it's not him.
Wait, she has an inside baby daddy.
Nah. Do you think Derek is the father of that kid?
I do not.
I don't think so.
Because I remember at the end of last season,
it was like season. Nah, y'all remember that
he wasn't at the house. He was somewhere like she wasn't at the house.
She was supposed to be watching that show with Issa and them.
Yeah,
exactly.
Wasn't there.
And then the new season came, she was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was like, whoa.
Damn, that's true.
Yeah.
And I think it's still gonna blow over.
Yeah.
Now I don't think they're gonna talk about it that much though.
They probably won't talk about it this season. They'll probably talk about it next season.
Yeah.
They're just gonna mention it, and then it's
because
like
they've been featuring them little by little, and that's to give y'all insight. Because it was the episode when the baby was born, when he was talking to Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of alluding to it that he kind of told Lawrence like he ain't the dad for real. If you paid attention to that comment, because he's like, man, this is not the way I picture myself to becoming a father.
Yeah.
And Lawrence looked at him like, hey, what you talking about? And they just never went into it.
I mean, some people get married and they want to plan, they're not trying to have a kid right after they get married and all that. So that's what I thought he was talking about.
That's what I thought too, but I'm gonna have to like rethink about it.
Yeah.
I think that's what they wanted you to think they were talking about.
Yeah.
Maybe they weren't even having sex at that time, and then Tiffany just came out pregnant. And he's like, well, she's obviously not cheating on me, so it's my baby. And she obviously is, but he just...
Because I remember it was a point where he said he was in a doghouse in the early season.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, he might have stepped out on her too.
That's possible.
You don't know.
We need the spinoff, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say though, I think that I get just to rewind. Like I think that Issa is not a perfect friend either. That's all I'm saying. Oh, my internet. What is happening? Can y'all hear me, sir?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
You're good. You're good.
I feel like Issa, that's why I said like certain friendships is like ill people attract each other, because I think Issa's a very selfish friend also though. Because as the way I work my friendships, the way I see friendships work, right? Like Meadows and Mrs. Lady Meadows, Lady Mike, y'all share everything. Y'all share everything, right? Like, cool. It is what it is. That's the expectation. That's something y'all have opted into.
Big Mike.
These brothers on this screen, I've known a lot of y'all since we can't even go back to when we first met. We don't even know. But there's certain things I don't know about y'all. There's certain things that I don't have access to y'all. You understand what I'm saying? There's certain boundaries set up, whatever. If I have a girlfriend,
I'm guarded, baby. I'm guarded.
But we too close. I got y'all no matter what.
You
understand what I'm saying? But
what's your point? I'm not.
Let him land.
Me launder my point. What I'm saying is that at the end of the day, like, I don't think, mind you, I didn't see last episode. I don't know the resolution of this argument. I don't personally see the problem if I were to choose to say, no, I will not ask my significant other, because maybe there's boundaries that I set up, whatever, and you should not cross them. You should be able to respect that. If there's nothing that says I have to. I don't have. It's your choice. It's my choice. I choose, and you cannot. It's not fair
anymore either. Because
I feel like. So I mean, like, that's one thing, but I feel like it's not even that she didn't ask her man, which I think is like the biggest thing that people focus on. But it's like she wasn't even trying to think of a solution. As
she wasn't
somebody
trying to even help
like to even help at all.
No, I'll shoot Molly a bell. I'll shoot Molly Bell. She did try to find a solution for them. She said, "What happened to the contract that they had with Schoolboy Q?" She asked Issa about the contract.
She was trying to
blew it off. Issa was like, "Yo, if you have a legal contract with them, then they, you should be able to get them no matter what. Like, there's repercussions for breaking contracts."
But if they're not going to show up, they're not going to show up. Like, it's like going to. It's like if you have a thing that says you're supposed to go to court for a speeding ticket, that's a contract. You're supposed to show up in court. How many people don't go to court? Like, you're making it seem like because there's a contract, niggas are just gonna show up.
I'm just saying she did offer to try to get a solution. That was her way of offering.
Was she offering that, or was she just kind of like doing her job? That's like the bare minimum. Molly's that's like a very basic response. I feel like
I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair though.
If you have the title of my best friend, if you just want to be any other nigga, then
that's my best friend. She Fina.
If you want to be my best friend and I got you and you got me, then I'm gonna need you to act like you got me. You can't be mad because I feel like people think that Issa's a user because we've all been seeing her within like this year span of time where she's needed help. So like we don't even know the whole grand scheme of Issa. But one thing we do know is like, I don't know. I just feel like it magnified how bad of a friend Molly truly is.
But see, the thing is like, okay, we have a podcast. You know what I'm saying? I have close bros and stuff. Like when I decided to start a podcast, I didn't consult with them. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not your responsibility to see me through any podcast rut problem issue we have. That's on us. You know what I'm saying? That's the boundaries that I have set. Like,
nah, yeah.
So what?
But listen to this. When we have events and those close bros don't support those events, how do you feel?
How I feel, but that doesn't necessarily
change
our relationship.
Answer the question.
But how I feel alone doesn't. That's not the bar. None of it.
We need you to call in on the phone.
I am. My point is that Issa herself. I've seen it. It's been clues since the beginning, since the first Broken Peas song, all that, whatever. She has shown that sometimes call on Molly, drag Molly in to sue herself. I've seen that pattern in her. That's all what I'm saying.
But Molly does the same.
Molly's worse.
Molly does.
Molly is even worse.
Exactly.
They're both selfish. They're both selfish at the end of the day.
But two wrongs don't make. I'm saying they both. What else I'm saying? It's not a good relationship.
Three less make it right.
That's my argument. Are they selfish or are they best friends? Like when you feel down or when you have a mood or when you're excited, don't you expect to like be able to call that one person to like express that?
I think girls do. Yeah.
Don't you want to like if some guy just broke your heart? Don't you want to be able to call that one girl? Don't you want to be able to like pull out the hot shells with your homegirl? Like to me, it's like, are you being selfish or are you just being like the type of friend that I need? I feel like Issa and Molly have been for each other the type of friend like that they both need. And even if we don't understand it, I know a guy probably wouldn't understand it because like y'all's relationships are so different than like women relationships. But like friendship is friendship. So I feel like Issa accepts the fact that Molly is like not introspective at all. She can do no wrong. That's basically her whole persona. Like if you do it, it's wrong. If she does it, she got an excuse for makes it right. And that's just how Molly is. I feel like Issa's accepted that. I feel like Issa, she needs a little bit more guidance and Molly's accepted that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't feel like one of them is selfish. I feel like they're friends.
I think it goes to how certain women form their friendship circles. Because there's a lot of people who form, like, I think Issa and Molly's friendship is formed off that negativity and that downer kind of mindset where they just both kind of like just have negative ideas of everything where it's not positive. So they see each other like that. Like, just like you said, they're what they each need, not what they want. They're not the friends that they want for each other, but what they need and probably what they deserve for real.
Like how when they was both outing each other out at that grocery store, and she was like, "Oh, you was smashing, you was smashing that nigga this the TSA," and she like, "Yo, you was just smashing a married nigga," you know. But she was able to normalize her smashing Dro because she's like, well, his wife knew, but it's like, nigga. That's and she in her mind.
But we actually don't know whether his wife actually knew.
But but that wouldn't be her fault though, because that's the narrative. That's right. The story he told her.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like
can't do no wrong. Smashing somebody that's married with a ring on their finger is wrong, no matter how you slice it. No matter how you anything.
Some married people got the open relationship. You feel me? With Will Smith and Jada. Shout out to them.
That was a rumor.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
They talked about it on Red Table Talk.
It is what it is.
It is what it is because Jada, she always be feeding into that narrative a lot with how she, I didn't know who Will was. And nigga, y'all been married 23 years and you just knowing.
Maybe I don't know if my internet is working now. I am even confused, but maybe it's the guy's perspective. I feel like no matter how close we are, unless you're my family, right? Who I would have talked to when I decided to start my endeavor, whatever, and there's a buy-in, right? Like I feel like it's unfair for me to bring you my professional endeavor, whatever challenge, and require you to, you know what I'm saying, put in energy or do whatever. I feel like that's unfair, an unfair burden to put on my friend. That's just me. Maybe it's a guy's perspective.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like
I don't even think it's a guy's
wrong,
perspective though, because like, bro. So like, let's just say this. Time out. If y'all were,
she doesn't have to give you to you, but is that your expectation of them to like help you out?
Yeah, like not even that. Let's say like y'all are having an event. No.
Let Meadows land.
Let's say y'all are having an event.
Yes.
The Africanist podcast Valentine's Day love thing. Let's just say that y'all are having an event. Y'all videographer doesn't show up. And y'all know you've paid him. Y'all had a contract. I'm at the event. My camera equipment's in my car.
And got it.
You're not gonna ask me?
Meadows, I would ask you, but
okay, then be quiet.
But for me to say,
you're not gonna ask me, like, and then, bro, and then if I said no, bruh, and if I said no, quick.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
If I said no, and
let me say my words. I have a real life.
See what I don't pass.
I have real life experience. Even I'm gonna be totally honest with y'all. I can be somewhere and some friend from wherever can be having an event, whatever. Let's say their DJ don't show up. Quake can be with me. Quake DJs. I can ask Quake. If Quake says, "Bro, no, I can't do it," my internet, I won't get mad at him. I won't hold it against him.
No, that's different though, because you're the middleman. You're the middleman. That's like if I have my wedding right now. That's like if me and Charlie have our wedding right now, and for whatever reason the DJ didn't show up, and Kwaku at my wedding and has his turntables in his trunk. Bro, if Kwaku does not DJ my wedding, bro, that's foul.
That almost happened. That almost happened at
wedding is different.
That almost happened at Chinapo wedding. Like I almost emceed his wedding.
Yeah.
Wedding is like
but the thing is, ultimately at the end of the day, you come through for your friends.
Yeah, and
your friends are in
like a
big thing. It's as simple as asking a question. Nobody got to come off of anything.
Yeah, Molly didn't even have to do anything besides ask.
I don't require you come through.
Who is this y'all, man?
But my requirement to say you have to come through. I'm not asking you to come through.
Who friend is this? This y'all.
I'm just saying my.
He's not your friend. He's gonna come through for you.
What I'm saying is that no, but it's the requirements is what I'm saying.
Okay. Since y'all's internet is not working, I'll explain what y'all was trying to say. Y'all was trying to say that you are not required to do this favor for them. You're not required to do it. But yeah, the thing is, even though you're not required,
I respect our brotherhood from on it either.
But the thing is,
I'm not going to do that because there's a reason you're my brother.
But yeah,
it's not this endeavor that I feel.
Bro, you are so passionate about this. It's crazy.
If I feel a way about it now because you did not do that favor for me, if you did not come in clutch for me in my time of need, I can feel a way about that and feel like distancing myself from you.
Of course. Social distance.
I can social distance our friendship based on that.
Right.
Of course.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Like, you're right. It's not required for me, but nigga, like.
So if you don't do that favor, would you feel a way if your friend then distances himself from you? Would you think your friend was out of line for distancing himself? Because if you didn't come through for them,
you wouldn't base it on that. I would base it. We have to talk about. We have to explain our perspective.
But not
this is why.
Conversation based on what you're saying.
That's it.
Your friend doesn't owe you that conversation based on your logic.
No,
They
that's
don't
not
owe
what I'm
you
saying.
that conversation. When you in need and you want to call them,
this
they don't owe you to pick up that phone call. And they don't owe you to call.
No,
They're not required
that's
to call
foolish.
you back. So your friendships ain't
No,
based on nothing because they're not required to do anything.
I never said that. Everybody
So you
has a
can't
right to
just like,
explain
you're
and
not
justify.
required to do this, but you're required to talk to me. That don't
No.
even work like that.
My issue is the automatic burden. My issue is the automatic burdens, and like it's not. I can't level that on you. I don't feel comfortable leveling that on you. That's just me.
That means you ain't never had no best friend, bro. Like, you ain't never had no best friend, bro. Like, I mean, like, y'all know Sam, bro. Like, there's nothing that I wouldn't ask Sam. It doesn't matter. Like, if I'm in need, I mean, like, there's just nothing that there's just nothing I wouldn't ask him, dog. Like, and there's nothing he wouldn't ask me. Sam's asked me stuff, even if it's gonna make me uncomfortable and I can't do it, he'll still ask. And
that's how. Like, and I would say, some brothers, you know, it's just how they it might be, and they wouldn't require. I would say, in y'all's defense, he's that way, and he wouldn't ask you that as well.
Right. And those are probably, that's just the way, but that's the way.
And so that's like his philosophy.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? For me, I have very few people where I will ask that too. And
yeah, I mean, we all do. Like, you're not just asking, you're not just out here asking everybody.
Very few people, but I'm that way though. Like, you can ask me for stuff and I wouldn't feel it.
But my issue is that Meadows, like, I love that point you made, right? Like, you have someone you can rely on for that, right? But let's say they answer that charge 14 out of 15 times. Then the 15th time they cannot. So you understand what I'm saying? That is why it's not a requirement, bro. You do what you can for me, and if you cannot, we talk about it as, you understand what I'm saying? We look at each other and we understand each other's perspective. If we can't, then fine. Then we don't bang with each other no more. We have a breakdown. But I cannot automatically, because life doesn't work that way. That's the way I see it. I mean, this is the way I see it.
Nah, I agree with you, y'all. I agree with you guys.
That's just the way I see it, bro.
But where Molly messed up is because, okay, Issa did respect her boundaries. So why get mad at her asking Nathan? That's
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
She didn't ask Nathan. Nathan asked her if she needed anything, and Issa needed something.
Even that, but why even get mad that Nathan asked? You know what I'm saying?
And
you already.
Molly wouldn't even know that nigga if it wasn't for Issa and Nathan. So if we really want to get back to the basics,
that's my point.
Molly need to be thanking Issa for finding her bow ass.
That's the point. That is the point.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we can go on for days.
Yeah, you ain't got nothing to say to that.
I have not.
Met his match.
No, I'm team. I'm team Issa on it. Molly. I said Molly. That's why I said what I said, to show you guys that I understand that Molly is even sick. She's sick in the head. But I'm just saying, I understand it. One aspect. That's all.
Okay. All right.
Let's just.
I love this episode.
I'll speak for this. Mike has looked out for me. I've looked out for Mike. If that was to ever happen to Mike at his wedding, I'm gonna hop on this set without any question. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what it is. Like,
it is what it is.
Yeah, like, I just can't understand somebody being your friend and you care about, like, the well-being of that person, and also, like, moreover, like, you know that this person has, like, been struggling to, like, with, like, career stuff, like, she, like, the manager of her apartment and trying to do this and that. She finally got something going, and, like, and it's not like Issa didn't have an artist at all. She had an artist, she did it on her own, and they flaked.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it's not like her first resort was like, ooh, Molly, can you ask him? Can you ask Andrew, I think his name is, like, if he could do this for me? Mm-hmm. She did it on her own. It's not her fault that Schoolboy Q flaked the day before the event.
Yes.
Condola fault.
Like, it's not her fault. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she did her. It's like if we use a wedding analogy, it's like me not hiring a DJ, and because I know Quaku's gonna show up, and like let's just say like it was a local job,
different.
and just being like, oh, well, I know Quake was gonna be there, and I know like he lived 15 minutes from the venue, so he could hold me down. She had everything like figured out. Is it her fault that
it was an emergency?
Yeah, it was an emergency, bro. Like if you can't count on your friend in an emergency, just to ask a favor on your behalf, dog. Like
Your
you
bestie.
can't make that the one excuse. Like even if you want to keep it separate, like she could have been like, "Hey, I'm really sorry. I'm not trying to do this because I do want to keep like our relationship and like your business separate from my friendship." But like Issa's in a jam. She has Schoolboy Q. He flaked on her.
She wanted her to crumble though. Even when she got there and saw that she got another artist, she was like, "Oh."
Yeah.
It was almost like she wanted her to need her.
She had ill intent.
She had Sir and Vince Staples.
She had ill intent.
And Vince Staples.
She had ill intent, bro.
Greatly appreciate y'all for having this conversation. We about to round up.
You already know.
Well, I want to say happy birthday to your wife.
It's your birthday?
Oh, happy birthday!
A couple days ago.
Happy birthday
Now watch
to
me
you.
Hands on your head while you
Happy birthday to
I don't remember the words, but
Uji at the top, so you already know. Once you hit them with that flex, you gonna be begging for some other. Hey, hands on my head. Anyway, okay, y'all gotta get good. I've been doing a lot.
Whatever.
She said you need Jesus.
It's Friday.
Okay, we all need Jesus. So why would I take that nigga?
Meadows, go ahead and
we all need something.
Meadows, go ahead and drop your social.
Wait, I can't hear because of y'all. What'd you say, Quake?
Go ahead and drop your socials and where they can find you at if they want.
Just Sir Meadows on everything: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Sir Meadows.
Cool. Well, with that being said, guys, you can follow us at AfricanistPod on Instagram and Twitter. Email us at africanistpodcast@gmail.com. And we are out. We'll catch y'all next week.
No unpopular opinion?
No. Not this popular. Maybe next time. Peace and blessings.
Mine have been going the whole pod, bro. Mine, so I'm even out.
All right, man. I really appreciate y'all. This was fun.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.